There is no doubt that if you want to design Divi5 websites that are consistent, easy to manage, and look professional, you have to use presets. And for a while now, we've been using a preset system which was broken and very frustrating to use. But a few days ago, Elegant Themes released the preset manager. We're going to take a look at that and see if it's practical and also if it answers all the questions that we need in order for us to have a workflow that is seamless. All right, so to check out the preset manager, you have to take a look over here on the left. Okay, so if you hover over here, you can see it says preset manager. If I click on it, we have all these presets now that are laid out one by one. So all these are all the modules that we have on our website. So if you wanted to take a look and see where your presets are, you have to click in each one of these and cycle through these. Now, I mean, for me, this is not, very exciting because it's not clear where the presets are. So I know I have button presets. So if I come over here, you can see all my buttons are all there. Okay, which is really cool. But I wish they had something over here to indicate where the presets are. I don't think that can be very difficult. So for example, over here on the buttons, maybe even have a little icon to say 5 presets or something, or just something to show us that there is something under these under this long list of modules. And we also have the group. So this is the presets that we get inside. Like for example, here you can see I have my text presets here. So there's 2 types. In fact, let me show you how this works. So there's presets that you access by coming over here to the top. So as you can see here, there is nothing. Okay, so if I were to go to my text presets over here on the element, you won't find anything in there. But if you wanted to now go into the group, this is where you find all these presets. For example, if I wanted this label here to be light, or dark, I can just go in here and notice that we have all our presets in here. Do you see that? So I can choose my preset here and now it's gone dark. Do you see that? And if I want to make it light, my preset here is label light, like that. Okay, then I can get rid of this. So that's the 2 ways we get our presets. So we're going to get our elements, which is over here. And then we also have the group, which is inside the actual items here. This is where you get the group. So for example, in my case here, I have some spacing presets. So I'll come over here. And if I were to click on this little icon, all these are my spacing presets. Okay, so that's pretty cool. What you can also do with this preset manager is if you wanted to search, you can actually search in here. So let's say we go for spacing. You notice that there's nothing in here under the elements. But if I come over here to group, if I search for space, here they are. That's all my spacing presets, which is pretty cool. So you have to know this if you want to use the preset manager. Now, the other thing that I also like is we also have a preset preview. Now, this is something that I think is really, really cool because if I were to come over here to my button presets and I go to this neutral button, what I can do here is I can click on this little pencil icon here and I get this option. You see that? So if I wanted to see how this looks like behind different backgrounds, I can just go to the backgrounds and that shows me clearly what this preset looks like on the actual background. And if I need to make any adjustments, you'll notice that as soon as you click on that pencil icon, you also have preset mode over here. So you can actually go in and make changes to this and the changes will reflect over here. For example, if I were to undo that and I go in and I start making changes, the changes will start applying over here. So let's go in and make some crazy adjustments. So you see here, I've added a crazy margin, right? So you can see in real time what is happening here. Now, I don't want to save that, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. Okay, so that's really cool. Now, the other thing as well that I thought was really cool about this update, or this feature rather, is to go in and rearrange your items based on which ones you often use. For example, if I come over here to my button presets, I can say, okay, the main button that I use is the primary. So I'm going to drag bring it up to here to the top. The second one here is going to be the secondary, and then the neutral pill. No, we want the neutral button here. Okay, and let's go with dark neutral. And I think primary, secondary, neutral, dark neutral are going to be my main buttons that I'm going to use. And ideally, I want them to show when I come over here on the buttons. So if I were to close this and then go into my button module here, if I come over here to the top, you're going to see that that order is what I created a moment ago. We have the primary as the first one, secondary, neutral, dark neutral. You see that? One more time. If I go in here, this is the order: primary, secondary, and so on. So it is really handy to have it this way, because you don't want to have your presets all the way down here, and when you come to search for them over here on the top, you don't find them. But I hope that this is exactly what they did with the group. But you know what? That's not the case, and it's so frustrating for me, so frustrating. I hope this will be an update very, very soon. So let me give you an example here. So I want to go to my sizing presets, okay? In fact, no, spacing, not sizing. So I'm going to type in spacing, and we notice here that we have our margin top, extra small, small, medium, large, and all these other margin tops. But if I were to come over here to my spacing, you see that it's all over the place. And for me to have them in the order, I have to delete everything and then start adding them the order that I want. And this doesn't work. It doesn't work. So here we have margin top medium. That's not going to be my go-to if I need to add margin top. And if I take a look here, we have a padding of extra small, small, large, and so on. But if I scroll all the way down here, you notice that we have our paddings here. So I ideally want to have them in the order that I want, which is what I have here. So if this could reflect exactly what's happening here, this will be really, really awesome. It'll be really, really good and make this really functional. Now, when we take a look at another feature, if you want to make, let's say, for example, the default, you just click on it, and this star, in fact, let's go to the button here, because you don't want to add a spacing as your main item. So you see here on the button, if I click on that, this becomes the primary, and you can see the color there. It turns into, is it a blue? I think it's a blue. So that makes it the default. So if I were to add a button here while I'm designing, it's going to be the primary button from my presets. So let's say you want to delete a preset. You can just come over here and click on this little tiny icon, and then you can just delete your preset. And this is why I really like about this, because at least I can go in here and delete it easier than coming over here and doing it, from the actual design panel. What I would like to see here as well is if I wanted to delete, let's say, a bunch of them, right? It would be nice if I could go in and have a little check mark over here to just select all the ones that I want to delete, and then just delete them all, and then just have a little item here that says delete all, right? I think that would just make this much, much better, because I don't want to delete one by one. No, we should have that to make it much easier to manage. The other feature that I think is missing from here is, ideally, when we import presets, they need to be some sort of an indicator that, okay, you want to append, right? Or replace. I think those two options are very important when importing, because if I'm importing, it's not clear what is really happening to my presets. And ideally, there should be also an indicator that shows us that, hey, hang on, here's the active preset, or these are the old presets, and these are the new ones that you're adding on. At least have them visually using colors, maybe gray and blue or something, or gray and purple, just to show us which ones were imported and which ones were pretty much on the system already. Now, the reason why I'm passionate about the preset manager is this is unique to Divi 5. All these other page builders don't really have this. Now, the only way you're also going to have consistent looking websites using a design system is by having a class-based system, which I have in the form of SiteKrafter. But this one here is visual, so you can actually see what is happening. So I think there's still a lot of work that needs to be done, but it's heading on in the right direction. Now, as we speak right now, I have a design system that I use to actually design my websites faster. So for example, if I were to go in here and add a bunch of text, for example, like that, I can just select my text module, and you notice how it comes in here. Now, because I'm using my presets, it's very easy for me to customize this. I can literally go in, select this, and then I'll go to my design here. And then under the text, I can decide, okay, what text is this, right? So we can say body text light, boom. Now I have my body text, but I can say, okay, the sizing here is not right. I want to add my spacing. I can come over here, and then I can say margin top, medium. And now I've added my margin top. You see that? So if you were designing this the typical old way, I would have to go in here and select the text size manually by saying 14 pixels, 15 pixels, 20 pixels over here. That is not the way to design. As you can see, this is very, very easy for me to design this way. Now, let's say I want to have this on a same thing that I've done, but on a lighter background. I can just come over here, just like before, search for my text module. Here it is. And then I'll select it, come over here, and then say, okay, you know what? Let's go to our text, and this is going to be my body text. I can even say body text small if I wanted to. And then for my spacing, I can come over here, and then I can say margin top extra large. Boom. You see that? So this is a much better way of designing. I mean, all these presets are all over the place. I mean, they pretty much make the whole design process much, much easier. I will leave a link to Crafter, the preset, the design system based on presets, in the video description below. Now, as you know, Divi 5 is a brand new page builder. I mean, if you used Divi 4, this is a complete build from the ground up, and it comes with its own complexity because it now is packed full of features that make our design process really close to professional looking workflows. So with that comes with a lot of complexity. And if you want to learn how to use Divi 5 really fast, then you want to take a look at the Divi 5 Mastery course. This course is only $27. And as I add new lessons and new modules, you don't have to pay extra. Okay, the $27 is, I mean, that's it. You don't have to pay anything extra. So go ahead. The link to that is in the video description below. Already there's over 1,000. In fact, we're getting close to 1,100 students now that have taken on this course. So go ahead, check it out. The link to that is in the video description below. And as well, if you want to use a design system to design your websites, as you can see, this looks clean and very, very professional. It's because the spacing here is very intentional. The font is also fluid and responsive automatically. There's no guesswork. Then I will leave a link to Crafter in the video description below. That is the design system for the future of Divi. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on this new preset manager. I mean, I think they're off to a very, very good start. I mean, it's a very, very good starting point, but it also has a lot of work to add on to make this really usable. And by the way, I forgot to mention that if you want to export your presets, you can just come over here and export them this way. But then you'll have to come over here and export your variables as well, right? So I would have loved to see maybe a combined sort of way of just exporting the both of them, because chances are your variables here are going to be using the presets. So why have variables exporting their own way and have presets exporting their own way? I think that needs a bit of an improvement. Maybe, I don't know, there's an idea behind it. Maybe there's a new feature that's going to be coming up very soon. I don't know. But anyway, that's my take on the new preset manager in Divi 5. Let me know your thoughts in the video description below. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Take care.